Alrighty guys, what is going on? Welcome back to the Ironman. Last episode, we maxed, and it is time to pick up from a lot of the grinds that we left behind. The first and foremost thing that we need to address, I still don't have an imbued heart, but what I do have is a double Araxite task. So that's how we're going to begin this video. If we can begin with an Araxite dropping an imbued heart, I think that'll be a nice little gift from Jagex. My purple luck hasn't been awfully fantastic at TOA, but who knows? I haven't done Slayer in like, I don't know, 6 months, so maybe my RNG is kind of ready to go. It's bubbled up and drops are just here to drop left and right. In all honesty, I'll be very surprised if we get the imbued heart at any point, but you gotta keep going for it. If you don't keep going for your goal, you will never get it in the end. So we're gonna try and make some progress towards that today, but at the very least, I think we shall get to maybe 25 mil or even much more than that in Slayer experience. But with that said, time to go do myself 2 Araxite tasks, and I'll report back if I see anything shiny. That didn't take long. First pair of Arania boots. Haven't seen one of these in a while. Nice little 5 mil. I've actually been offloading these to another account to pay for bonds because bonds are expensive these days, and so are Arania boots, and I get a lot of those, and I can't exactly get bonds on the floor, but we'll take it. I know this superior is not going to drop me anything, but it's just nice to see it. It's been so long, although... Did I not drink that? Okay, I got very panicked. Let's find out what it actually drops. I would be at a loss for words if this dropped me the imbued heart. It would be a nice welcome back to Slayer. There it is, moment of truth. Nothing. It's all coming back to me. I don't know if my RNG is boosted with these things, but man, I feel like before and presently, my Arania boot RNG is just absolutely ridiculous. But another 5.2 mil, we shall take it. I will never complain about having an excess of these boots. Both those Araxite tasks are complete. No imbued heart to my name, but I get to explore the game again. I get to find a star. It's been a very long time since I've been the first one to discover one of those. I'm currently doing a Black Dragons task. I had 2 of them, coincidentally, that needed to be done. The first of which needed to be done in the Evil Chicken Lair, and then I'm going to polish off the second one over by the little babies. Also, I don't think I've seen anyone without a max cape in like over an hour of gameplay. It's quite strange. I'm so happy. This game is great. I feel like I'm let out of the cage. I get to run around once again. I really do feel like I've been in prison, and now I'm just a free man wandering the earth, and now I have myself another Araxite task, which is a good chance at an imbued heart. We shall try once again to get that drop. Or even just some Arania boots wouldn't go astray. Can never get enough of those. No superiors that time around, no boots, just a head. Another one to add to the collection. I think I've got at least 10 of those now. What is that? 15. Yeah, no worries. Question is, can we use the max cape to get a back-to-back? I'm pretty sure the perk would still apply. Sukwa's is never happening. I'm pretty sure Slayer will also be receiving an update in the not too distant future. So, who knows? The Slayer meta may change a whole lot in the next few weeks, but that time is not yet now, so I have to deal with the hand that I'm dealt currently. Black Dragons it is once again. After this final Araxite dies, we will finally get to 25 million Slayer experience. If I didn't mention it, you would probably think this is just a typical Slayer task, of course. I'm just efficiently slaying, but that is not the case. I've only brought 3 out of 4 of my cannon pieces, and so I just have it pointed at my head. A little reminder that if I do that again, I'm going to cop a cannonball to the face. But with 25 million Slayer experience under my belt, I'm hoping there's not too many XP milestones that I do achieve before I get myself the imbued heart. But if I manage to get myself a bunch of Araxite tasks, in theory, it should just be a matter of time, right? Surely I don't get to 30 mil or more before I unlock that, right? The countdown applied, so if it's not fully set up, it just disappears. Did I just lose my cannon? Like, I was sitting here watching the cooldown. I thought it would go into repair mode. I'd be, haha, I need to repair something that isn't shooting, but it just, instead, completely disappeared. Did I just get scammed? Well, at least if I need to buy another one, I guess that'll cover the cost a little bit. This is turning out to be quite the eventful task in a lot of ways that I wouldn't have expected. Another pair of boots to add to the collection. I'm actually a little worried that I'm going to have to buy this cannon back, but this is the piece that I missed, the cannon furnace. So I'm hoping I can talk to, I think it's old mate over here. I'm not even going to try and say that name. Hopefully he will inform me that I've misplaced my cannon and he found it. I've lost my cannon. Please give it back. Okay. Crisis averted. I know it's only 750k, but man, that would be a shit way to lose that money. The game has given me 2 Greater Demons tasks, and I'm going to try out Zami. This time not with the Bofa, but with the Lightbearer that I've not returned here since I got it, and the Scorching Bow. I'm hoping I don't screw this up. I'm hoping this is chill as I imagine it could be. I'm just not sure if I can pull it off. So we're going to give this a go. I've got some dragon arrows I might start off with, and if it feels like these are overkill, I'll switch to the rune arrows. I don't want to waste these, but I'm a noob to this, so as soon as I am done learning the method with the exclusively Scorching Bow Lightbearer combo, we might be able to flick it across to the rune ones and save some of these. The main reason I want to do this task is essentially Wines of Zamorak. I also need to get some items from this boss, but the most consistent thing I can realistically rely upon is that secondary for ranging potions, and that's an item that I still struggle to obtain to this day, so fingers crossed we don't screw up and we can get ourselves some wine. Okay, Staff of the Dead, we take those immediately off the floor because I don't trust myself not to die. I don't know exactly what I'm going to use this for, but I'm glad to see a nice red beam on the floor. We take that. I'm really struggling, although, to recover. I'm finding it a little sus sustaining myself, but to be honest, with 106 essence so far, it ain't going too bad. I guess this is one way we can test it. Unfortunately, you can't autocast with this thing, so I'll use it in very niche scenarios, but this is one of those scenarios that fits perfectly. I almost got clapped out the very next kill. We are already back to 99 health. It's a beautiful sight. Alright, I think I've squeezed out as much as I possibly could from that trip. Managed to kill the boss at the very end there, but not the minions. With 20 health remaining and the 3 minions attacking me all at the same time, I didn't want to test my luck. So, Staff of the Dead has been unlocked. I did find it useful actually during the kills there. Maybe it's placebo, but it did feel like I was absolutely demolishing and getting a lot more barrages off. But with that said, I think it is time we exit the God Wars for now. I ended up using the dragon arrows as a bit of a backup strategy. If I found that my Scorching Bow wasn't hitting too well, I would end up switching to the dragon arrows to try and allow myself to finish off the kill. Otherwise, it was getting very sketchy, and I didn't want to deal with that. So, got me out of a pinch a few times. I don't know, like, realistically, the rune arrows, the dragon arrows, there's not a huge difference between the two. It's obviously, like, meaningful, but who knows? I like to think that I got myself out of some hairy situations with the arrow switch, so I might even bring it with me for the next trip. I'll just rely on the rune arrows more and more. Either that or running around the room as well. But I've got an exam I need to test myself with. I think while I do my exam, don't copy my answers, by the way. Figure it out yourself. What I will be doing is completing this Greater Demon task somewhere else. I don't want to go back to God Wars Dungeon and then need to leave or do more KC without it being my current task. So considering the fact that I have myself 2 things that I can do, 2 Greater Demon tasks, I'll complete what is left of this one, and then when that is done, I'll swap back over the other one and get back into the God Wars, because I do need many more Wines of Zami. I have quite a lot of Dwarf Weed, I believe, and if I don't have a whole lot, I will have a whole lot in the future. But when it comes to Wine of Zami, I have 86 now, so yes, definitely need more of that. Not gonna lie, since Yama has been released, I've not killed any demons in the Chasm of Fire, and I have no idea what this symbol above this thing's head is. By the time I post this video, I may know, but in the meantime, I'm very bloody confused. I don't know why there's a pentagram spawning above the monster's head. I think a Slayer task is very separate to a contract, and I don't know if you can combine the two together, so maybe I need to go to a contract master as well as a Slayer master. And I believe you need to kill it with different combat styles, but I might go read the wiki, because I feel very confused right now. Alright, I still don't quite get it, but I think whatever appears above them is associated with the contract that you will receive, but I just wanted to show you how scuffed my special attack was. I don't know what is up with the graphics right now, but I can't... No, I can show it again. The more you know. A bunch of particles and stuff are just going up into the ceiling, and I don't know if that's intended, but... Anyway, I digress. That task is complete. It's strange to be able to attack them. I'm used to getting yelled at if I attempt to attack a greater demon after a task is complete. But in any case, it is indeed complete, and it's time to get a new one. I would like to set up for another trip at the greater demons right now, but it's just a little too late to start off a trip because they go for so long. It's such a time commitment more than anything, but 1337, very nice. amount of points there. But let's see what we can get. Crudel, what are you going to... Oh, for God's sake, I'm going to be doing graded demons for the rest of my life. No, thank you. We'll skip that for now. Hopefully we get something a little better. Alright, Black Dragons. It's just going to have to do. I think it is time for another Zami trip. This time around, I'm going to bring myself the Zami top. I was finding KC to be slightly annoying because I'd have to shoot my arrows into the floor if I was doing that. I like to tag a couple of the Zami creatures out here before going into the imps, but once I get my KC at the imps, probably end up world hopping a bunch to get it. I'll quickly run you through the current setup that I use to get things rolling. Where are the imps? I feel like they've gone extinct. I've got the tiles marked of where they spawn, but I don't see a single one of them. Maybe somebody else is getting KC, who knows? KC is complete. I want to go a little bit greedy this time around. I brought a bunch more ranging potions. I also want to try out the private instance. I don't know if there's any combat achievements. I know Bandos, I've got a bunch of private instance achievements that I didn't get because I was using the public ones. I'm going to play it safe. We're going to equip the dragon arrows and we're going to do a special attack in this corner and then shoot the boy 5 times. I'm saying this out loud because I'm mentally preparing myself to do so. These are the quick prayers that I like to use. If you have rigor, maybe that's worth it. I don't know. I feel like the prayer drain on that shit is crazy, but drinking a divine potion, equipping this special attack, you can pre-right click the boy over here. Apparently not. But we're going to spec and do 4 from this corner. And once he dies, we're going to move over to the other side of the room. That'll give us an additional attack at the start. So once we do our 4 attacks, spec, and then 4 more. I guess we can just use the dragon arrows to speed up the explanation. But it's pretty nice to set up. I like to only drink 1 dose of my prayer or my superstore when I come in. Because we can, of course, use the altar. But I'm going to go mop up these mobs here. I've been using this tile over here to kind of line things up. Occasionally you can get all 3 in the right spot, but for the first initial kill, you're probably not going to make it. Looks like we are going to have to dip into that secondary dose. But I'll kill these minions and I shall be right back. I still had Ice Barrage as my autocast, so I guess the benefit to that is that I don't have to pray any melee. But once we have our prayer back from the altar, we can loot any items that are on the floor. Might pick up those tuna potatoes. The good thing about this method is once you get into the rhythm, you can kind of self-sustain. That's why I've gone so deep in the ranging potions. But we'll stand in this corner here, shoot off a special attack, and then we will auto-attack the boss 5 times. It's a little bit different to the previous corner. But once we've shot 5 times, he will then need to be special attacked once again. And then from there, we will repeat the 4-to-1 ratio of 4 attacks to 1 special. So the 5th attack will come through. He'll move very close. It's a little bit scary, but you can rest assured you'll be fine. As long as you shoot on the tick that he spawned. The 4 attacks from here, spec comes out. And if my DPS is lacking, that's when I'll swap to the dragon arrows. Or if my special attack is also running out. But he is dead, and now I'm stuck in the loop, and I can do this for the next couple of hours. So I guess we'll see how we go. Looks like we did get a nice little stack here, which is good to see. But from here, I shall report back if we get any drops. Ah, I forgot those could actually be dropped. I haven't seen a God Sword shard in a long time. I guess I will need a couple more blades. I do want to make an SGS at some point, so this will definitely come in handy. I just don't know if it's specifically one that I require currently. I think it's the God Sword Shard 2s. They're the ones that are kind of eluding me for the longest time. I also think I didn't do a private instance. Something feels fishy. Bro, I was at like 90 health like 30 seconds ago. I did not... I was just... Okay. Okay, that's the way that trip ends. Good. Okay. Look, I needed to wrap it up soon, but that is not the way I expected it to go. On the plus side, the God Sword Shard, I actually needed it. We need the 2 and the 3 to make our 3rd blade. I could probably just swap the hilts around if I really got desperate, but it would be cool to have each unique God Sword at the same time. Kind of reminds me of the Keris and the dual switching. It's just not the ideal setup. But considering I did a hefty amount of damage into that task, I think I shall AFK the rest of it at the chasm. I still don't know if I have the ability to get myself a contract from that place, so I guess we'll find out. Still don't understand that contract thing for the demons, but finished that task and then moved on to a Dust Devil here. This was actually a Konar task, so 5 Brimstone keys, as well as 30 million Magician points. Konar's been treating me pretty well lately, which is nice. But I think it's time we go and grab another task. Araxites or Smoke Devils, definitely my preference at the moment. This has been an eventful 10 seconds. Let's see how this Superior translates. That would have been absolutely beautiful, but I'll take it. That was a pretty clean kill, despite taking 50 points of damage. I thought I would run out of Slayer points before I reach this milestone, but after this PJing Anko goes to the grave, this will be... Dude, these zeros are intense. This will be another 50 Slayer task streak that has been completed, giving us an extra 300 points. I have been blowing through quite a few skips, so that 300 is very much necessary. Also, narrowly closing in on that 500 mil milestone. That half a bill will be nice to see if I can hover my mouse over it, but before too long, we shall get there. 202 Abyssal Demons probably won't be enough to get there, but maybe I can swap it out, do some Dust Devils, and report back momentarily. Also very close to 70 million ranged experience, which is also pretty cool. Also focused on everything else. It looks like Slayer's the actual milestone dark horse. If we can cluster all of these together, kill all of these Dust Devils, we'll actually get to 26 mil. I was like worried about getting to 25 million experience in Slayer. I don't know why my mind thought that would even be a challenge, but 26 is cleared. Praying that we don't get to 30 before we get a heart on the ground. Let's see if I can clear this 500 mil before the Slayer task is over. I see that is not the case. I kind of want to get it here though. I couldn't quite get it before the task was complete, but there is officially 500 million experience points to my name. It's depressing to think that 4.6 bill was the cap, but still, a milestone is indeed a milestone. I think it'll be a long time before I double that, that is for sure. Been using my Venator bow for my Abyssal Demons task. I kind of miss using the old Venator bow. It's actually so good for experience. I think I'm getting like 150k an hour and it's pretty much AFK, but that is how we're going to get to 70 mil range. I really do feel like I was stuck in the 60s for a while, but depending on how much Slayer I do, will kind of dictate how long we're stuck in the 70s. I almost skipped this Dagonoth task, but I'm going to do something left of field, something I would never expect from me to do. And that is all of the medium clue scrolls inside my bank. As I was contemplating skipping the Dagonoths, I thought, what utility can these provide? Bank! And aside from seeds, what is most compelling is the medium clues. I've not done a single clue scroll ever since they released the scroll boxes. I've yet to do one, but I will need to go for Ranger Boots at some point. I feel like this is going to be the best place to start from. If I can passively earn myself some medium clue scrolls whilst I do some Slayer, who knows, maybe I get lucky and I don't need to go on a dedicated grind to obtain those pesky boots. So from here, it looks like the Ranger grind actually begins to some capacity. I'm very much not a clue scroll enjoyer. So I guess this will be my first step towards the Ranger boots grind. I never thought I'd actually be pursuing these, but with the new Avernic treads being released, I can't ignore them any longer. They're too good to ignore. I'll also need to probably do some Cerberus as well. Another thing I've been putting off the longest time. But anyway, let's go do this clue. Let's see if a clue scroll with a bunch of cobwebs on it lead to anything productive. No, is the answer. I just realized before that that was my first ever medium clue. I didn't realize, like, I know I avoid clues, but holy shit. Not getting a single medium done until maxed? That's pretty lazy even for me, but it looks like clue number 2 is just as bad as the first one. Oh well, that's okay. Time to do a Dagonoth task. I think if I get 2 clues, that is the maximum I can currently do. The more clue scrolls I do, the more clue scroll boxes I'll be able to collect at one time, but when you've done 0, I guess 2 is the max. So if I get 2 more clues from this task, I'll go do them as well. I had to get myself an adamant square shield for one of my clue steps. Had a look at the wiki. Turns out worms are 1 in 38. Very respectable drop rate there. Only took us 9 to obtain it. You can't smith these with addy bars. That was the only thing holding me back. But now that I've got it, I don't need to kill any more worms. Let's get out of here. So that clue scroll didn't end up going anywhere, but we got ourselves an Araxite task shortly after, and this has been pretty good. I got 2 pairs of boots, 1 or 2 superiors, and also some Snapdragon seeds. So even though we're not getting what we're going for, we're still getting some decent loot at the very least. And the longer this goes for, the more pairs of boots I get, the more and more money I get to pay for my membership. But I think it's time we go grab another task. I'm also really enjoying Dagonoth for the express purpose of getting medium clues. Very nice to have that, the ability for the clues to stack. I think once I've done 100, I'll have the ability to stack 3. That'll be pretty nice because I might not need to do multiple trips. Generally, I'll probably get at least 2 medium clues per dag task, but it can be 4 or 5 if I'm very lucky or unlucky, depending on how you look at it. Got myself a Smoke Devil task, fortunately, but unfortunately, I'm out of water runes, and whilst buying some, we found ourselves a Crystal Impling. I forget what these even drop. 500 rune arrows. That's actually pretty good. I'm like running out of those slowly but surely. But I think before I do this task, I'll get myself about 100,000 water runes. I'm buying some death runes while I'm here. I feel like that is the other rune type that I'm very consistently, seemingly running out of. So once these 100,000 or more water runes are bought, we're going to go get ourselves an imbued heart from a smoke devil. I can't wait. Although I think a good suggestion would be an ability to unpack all. If you've got yourself like a bunch of water packs like this, or rune packs in general, there should be an unpack all option. I don't know, I feel like that would make this experience a lot less AIDS. But who knows, maybe there's some limitation that prevents that from being a thing. There is another medium complete, I think this is number 10, and I get myself a cabbage shield. Fantastic. I think I'll be leaving that one on the floor. I can hear some bloke ice barraging behind this menu, but what this menu represents is that the game has been updated. Currently have an Abyssal Demon task and a Araxite task stored, so I'm hoping things didn't get screwed up, but with about 1200 points I had, I guess this has given me some information. Don't tell me what to do. Why is everybody naked over here? What is happening? There is so many people here. I guess it makes sense, the update just went through, but it looks like I've gotten about 1500 points. And this is the Slayer update that kind of changes how everything goes in terms of what you have blocked. So everything has been purged. If I click this view list here, I can choose what I do and do not want. I might spend a couple of minutes kind of working on this right now and see if I can get myself a good setup. I think these green padlocks represent a current Slayer task that I have. I was a bit confused what that meant. And the yellow ones is something I've not unlocked at all. I think I'm going to test out blocking out cave krakens as our first thing here. Let's see, if we click this, it'll cost 100 points. So I'm going to essentially re-spend about 500 of the points that I just got returned. There's only going to be one real difference that I can think of. Metal dragons, that is a big one. A combined list of all the metallic dragons in one go. I don't know how I feel about this one because rune dragons aren't too bad, but because they don't offer any form of superior variant, I think for the time being we will block those. We will really want to optimize for the heart in this situation here. I might go pretty aggressive with my skipping and whatnot. I'm curious to see, maybe you can set up a task list for both Turiel as well as Durador or whatever. With independent block lists for both, I reckon skipping for tasks might actually be really, really strong for this update, but it literally only just came out and I don't have a brain, so I need somebody to make a video on it before I can figure out what to do. It would be nice if I could actually order these by a percentage. It'd make blocking things a bit better. I want to get tasks that have like the highest percentage and also take a long time. So things like black demons can definitely go on the block list for sure. I don't know if I'll regret this one, but I will block a greater demons as well. We've only got one block to do. I want to block hellhounds, but at the same time, I wonder if it's free to toggle it. Like once you've blocked it, does an unblock cost anything? I imagine so. I'm not going to mess with that for now. I do want to keep hellhounds available. I just want to keep them available after I do the heart grind. So who knows? Maybe I'll block them for now and unblock them later after I get my imbued heart, but I'll reluctantly re-block them. But yeah, overall, not a huge difference to my block list. I think that I've only made a couple tweaks there. But having metal dragons all grouped up into one has been pretty good. Bit of a blast from the past there. Completely lost my train of thought. But it looks like everybody is in the same position. They're like not sure what they previously had blocked. So we're all kind of like scrambling or like, what the hell do we do? But anyway, I'll leave it there for now. I'll make adjustments once I get my heart, and for the time being, I think that'll be fine. If Turiel skipping with an independent block list is also quite effective, I might end up just burning through all my Slayer points and then using that strategy, because I can skip a lot of the Durador tasks with that master, and when it comes to doing those easy tasks, I can probably block a lot of like unsatisfactory tasks for that one in particular. Because having things like Black Demons, Greater Demons, that's all great for Durador, but Turiel would never assign those. So I could probably skip like Skeletons, or I've never really done like the lower level Slayer, so I'm not too sure what would be most optimal, but maybe I just don't feel like killing cows for whatever reason. But any of those tasks that seem to be a pain in the ass, I could probably skip those. So I'm pretty sure there will be some really nice strategies cooked up with this new update. But for now, I'll go back to my humble Slayer and be thankful that I don't have to see a metal dragon anytime soon. After the completion of a few tasks, we have now hit 27 million Slayer experience. Been a very smooth journey overall, until of course I had a Slayer task where I almost died at the Necreals. Oh my god, that was not even close. And with my butthole puckered, it was time to get back into an actual streak. We've now hit 1100 tasks in a row. That extra 500 points will definitely come in handy for some upcoming skips, but it is once again time to do some maintenance. I wanted to convert all of my steel bars into cannonballs, and thus it was so. Getting a few medium clue scrolls done here and there. Gnomish firelighters. I don't know if I ended up holding on to that, to be honest, but outside of cannonballs, I also needed to replace my bracelets of slaughter. A nice little fresh batch cooking up there, rewarded handsomely with a crystal impling along the way for my efforts, but also was doing myself a smoke devil task. I noticed that somebody's cannon was just chilling on the ground, and I guess I got the lore behind it. This guy just totally forgot it was there, and he was choking on smoke when he went to retrieve it, but it's okay. All's well that ends well. The cannon has been returned to its rightful owner. But afterwards, I was doing myself some Araxites, and I noticed the loot on the ground was just disappearing until I saw this man in the corner telegrabbing my shit off the ground before my very eyes. I often leave items on the ground because I'm like juggling or whatever, but I couldn't be bothered. The clone, no hard feelings. You may take those rune plate legs from me. I'll only judge you slightly. Oh yeah, I also hit 75 million ranging experience. Should probably mention that as well. So I think the previous clips you just saw, that's about a week of gameplay in like a minute or however long it took to explain what I'd been going through. But currently doing a smoke devil task, and this cannonball stack is all I've got left. I'm a little bit worried about how I'm going to continue with Slayer. We've currently hit 28.7 million experience, which is a lot, but it's going to come to a bit of a standstill. I've no longer used the cannon for my Araxite tasks. It's only these last few smoke devil tasks. Can we get the heart there? That would solve my problem immediately, but apparently not this time around. But once I run out of cannonballs entirely, I think I'm going to have to go on a bit of a side grind to get some. I'm also quite low on Slayer points themselves, so I think I'll have to do some either Turiel or Mazkar. I don't know how to pronounce that one. Slayer task skipping. Probably just Turiel, to be honest. I've never done the Turiel skipping, but once I get to maybe 1200 in terms of my streak, I'll get that bonus, and then I'll burn through my remaining stash and then fully convert over Turiel. I thought I would be done with my current strategy of just using Duradol, but because of the recent reimbursement through all of the Slayer points, I've been able to extend my usage of those masters. But I think I've got about 400 Slayer points remaining, so I still need to build my block list for Turiel, so I will need to reserve some of those points to do that. Fortunately though, it is cheaper per block. We're going to try and muscle out this remaining task with, I don't know, 90 cannonballs. I'll probably end up having to smack some of these smoke devils, and the inevitable cannonball grind will have to begin. Because I can do Araxites without cannonballs, I don't see myself doing smoke devils without it. The final cannonball has been fired. I'm officially an Iron Man without a cannon. I've only got one clump of smoke devils to go. It would have been so nice if that superior was the thing that just gave me the heart, because these cannonballs, I don't see myself using them for anything else apart from the heart grind anytime soon. So I'm in this weird position where cannonballs, they are necessary for other things, but I'm only using them specifically for the heart. So do I make a bunch of them, take a bunch of time and get good use out of them, or do I make small batches at a time, hope I get the heart, and don't overproduce an item that I'm not going to receive utility from? But yes, I'm going to staff bash the rest of this task. I am definitely down bad in this moment. I really get the sense that the game is trying to be generous with superiors. I think I've had 4 of them, something like that, in the last 40 kills, which is atypical to say the least. I think my goal with the cannonballs will be to make 20,000. I feel like that's a modest amount, and even if I do, for instance, get a heart, 1,000 cannonballs in, I won't feel too bad that I actually made all of those cannonballs. So I feel like 20k is that nice little sweet spot where I get a good duration of Slayer, but it also doesn't take a shitload of time to produce. But with that said, I've not produced them yet from scratch, and I think I'm going to have to collect a lot of coal. Fortunately, I believe I have a lot of iron ore remaining from potentially the giant mole. Either that or when I was going for my expert mining gloves. Makes me kind of regret not picking up the iron ore. I didn't think I'd actually have a use for it, but I think I'll have to go to the blast furnace to produce these steel bars, and then from there just do some AFK cannonball making. Check approval. How much do I need? 99%. Alright, we'll take that. The plan is to get some coal through the kingdom. I'm not too sure how long it's been since I've collected it. It hasn't been super long, but I also do not know how long it takes to get coal. I believe I've put half a stack of resources onto the coal farming, and now that we've got 100%, I'm going to collect what I've got. I think that'll be close enough to a 20k stack of cannonballs that I don't really mind. If it's 18,000, who cares? But I think the fastest source I will have of these materials outside of the kingdom itself may be purchasing from a shop, which ideally I avoid doing, but may be inevitable. Hopefully this stack is the final stack that I'll need to actually go through, but we'll collect it from Mr. Grim, and hopefully the loot isn't so grim. Let's collect these resources. Wait a minute. That changes everything. I had, what is that? I've not been, what? Maybe I've not been here longer than I thought. 400 Raynars. Holy shit. Maybe it has been a minute. Anyway, I think my coal situation has definitely been sorted. I can't believe that. I actually do not know how long that would have been. I really felt like it's not been that long at all. And who knows, maybe coal just accumulates super quick. No idea. Anyway, got to replenish that. I am now completely sorted. What the hell? I may need to get more iron ore in the near future, but coal I thought would be the bottleneck, and potentially I could do some more giant mole and actually receive a lot more iron ore from where that came from. From memory, I believe it drops something along the lines of 100 iron ore per drop, but failing that, I could always just buy it from a store. But anyway, time to go to the blast furnace. Holy shit. Okie doke, so I've processed all of the iron ore I've got in my bank, and I'm just buying some out of the stores here. I'm not really a huge fan of Hopscape, but this is quite effective. If you just sort your world list by activities, group all of the blast furnace worlds together, you can actually extend quite a few trips if you desire to purchase the iron ore itself. But I think once I've cleared out this Australian world, I much prefer to do this on a lower ping server. To be totally honest, I think we'll be done for now. I think I've used maybe half of my coal. I had planned on making 5,000 bars perhaps, but I think I have more than truly extended that up to 11,500. So pretty nice. That'll be what, 45,000 cannonballs. It's a bit over 2 times what I was kind of projecting to go for, so I'll be very happy with that once it's all done. But of course, we've made the bars, and it is going to be multiple hours before I get to shoot them out of a cannon, so I should stop stuffing around in this blast furnace world and actually get into it. But all things considered, I'm grateful that the bottleneck is actually my coal supply, and if I really wanted to, I could also buy that here as well. So I think what I'll do is passively gain coal from the kingdom. If I ever feel like I need more cannonballs, just focus on buying the iron ore, like you see me doing right here. Focus on the coal can be in the bank, and then I can just top up with the iron and hot worlds as necessary. It's kind of nice. You'll eventually find streaks every now and again where you don't need to hop because the dude just keeps getting the resupply. Ultimately, I would like it if this had unlimited stock, but I understand this game has limitations, but it would be nice if we had unlimited. Although, I don't think I'll be holding my breath for an update that encapsulates that. But anyway, bars created. Time to go smith them into some balls. One thing I should mention though is that I dropped the max cape. For some reason the max cape turns a coal bag from a 27 coal holding apparatus to a 36. That was really just throwing me off. I need a 1-to-1 ratio. Perhaps that would come in handy for something that isn't a steel bar, but I ended up just dropping it and using the graceful. I can't think of any way that you could make that less annoying, but yeah, I struggled with it for a few inventories. Ultimately deciding, stuff this, I'll just keep it simple, do 27 of both and not worry about that extended coal bag. But if there is actually an advantage to the 36 coal bag when making steel bars, let me know, because I really could not think of one for myself. I have been making cannonballs for like 10 hours today. I think I'm going to wrap it up. 40,000, that is more than enough. If I don't have a heart by then, I'm not going to have a soul by the time this is over. This is consuming my entire existence. So I'm going to go shoot this cannon instead of spending multiple days preparing to actually create the ammunition. Ironically though, I think the task that I have is, I think I have double neck reels right now, so I won't even use that supply that I've just created for killing those monsters. But alas, when I do get a monster, I'll actually be able to use some balls on it. I've actually just been here so long that I feel like my character is now cosplaying as the furnace. The color scheme, it's just, I've looked at it for so long that I feel like I am one with the furnace, and I think it is time to subtract myself from this equation. I've been sat here for 2 minutes waiting for this crystal impling to get off the toilet. I'm a little sick of this shit. I don't know why crystal implings require to hover over these lakes in inaccessible locations, but I feel like this spot in particular is particularly egregious. Please just catch the... okay. This is... yeah, I'm buying some death runes at the moment, and every time I world hop, there's a chance that I come across a crystal impling. Finally, that one actually allowed itself to enter my hands. I don't know if there is any other spot that is more problematic than that corner right there. I feel like all the shenanigans that you see with crystal implings revolves around that space. But anyway, gotta buy some more death runes. I just keep going through these so quickly. I probably need to runecraft some. It looks like it's a half decent method. If I ever obtain the achievement diary, I think I should be able to make double death runes. I think that's a thing with the achievement diary KP in the Abyss. I just think in general, getting those death runes in that manner will be a good little mix between efficient rune crafting, at least death rune acquisition, and also old school nostalgic Abyss rune crafting. Should be lots of fun, but who knows, maybe the novelty will wear off quite quickly. I also do not have myself an achievement diary cape, so I don't have to worry about solving that problem anytime soon. I think I'll be buying death runes for quite a while. Ironically, ever since making the cannonballs, I don't think I've really had any cannon tasks at all. I do have a backed up smoke devil task, so I will be destroying that trend, but during this Dagonoth task, we did indeed get to 29 million Slayer. I think I might cap myself to 30 mil, because I think 5 mil Slayer is probably enough for one video. I'm kind of going a little bit insane, but at least I'm prepared to train more in the future. Hopefully the cannonballs that I did make last a decent amount of time. As I finish up this task, I should report that I did receive an item from a superior, and it is indeed the first item that I've got from a superior Araxite. That item, of course, being a dust battle staff, but the task is complete. It is time for me to head to the Slayer Master once again, but I've got a bit of a problem that is going to take me a little while to solve. I've more or less run out of Slayer points, and I think I need to start tutorial skipping. And as you can imagine, running to the Ferox Enclave when you are maxed, when you should have a house, is also a little bit of a problem. So I'm going to fix two birds with a singular boulder and build my bloody house. I just want to double check to make sure that I'm not lying. I've got 27 points left. So if I were to receive a task right now, if it was total horse shit, I'd be stuck up shit creek. So I still have a pretty long streak at the moment, 1187. I will need to tutorial, not skip, but do tutorial tasks to get that to 1200, leverage the extra points I get from that, and then set up a block list, and then begin my tutorial Slayer adventure. I want to call it tutorial skipping, but I guess that is what it's called actually, now that I think about it. But yes, I just want to take advantage of that Slayer streak first, but first things first, I need to build a house because yes, using dueling rings is cute and everything, but I should probably grow out of that phase. It's a little bit ridiculous to be doing it at this point, so I'm going to head to my house and see if I can make this thing a damn home. For a refresher, let's have a look. One last check-in with the house. I of course show you this in confidence. This is currently what my house looks like as a maxed Ironman player, so yes, we're going to be replacing the dueling rings, I hope. But this is the last time you'll ever see my house in this sad and sorry state. And honestly, my main motivation for upgrading my house is that when I do tutorial tasks, I'm going to need to teleport to a bunch of random places. I guess Aya is my taskmaster, not tutorial, but I will beat cave bugs. Alright, I need to figure out a block list for this individual. That I can wait a little bit once I've done my 1200 task, but to get to these different areas around the map, I'm going to need a slew of different teleports that I'm not used to using, and I feel like this will be the best time to set up the portal nexus. All those random teleports that I don't normally think about, I can set those up as well, and I can actually start leveraging the power of this max cape for realsies. To be honest, I think cave bugs aren't too bad. I don't know if it's part of the Aya block list. I'll just be copy-pasting my block list from a Travag video, because that guy actually knows how this game functions, which is good. I like when people are smarter than me. It's very, very nice. And there's quite a few of them, which is also very, very convenient. Now, I don't know if I was more embarrassed to show my house before or after I've done all this, but regardless, I'm going to rip the band-aid off. This is what my house looks like now. It's not fully finished, but I think this is going to do for now. I need to put my Tangleroot in his little house. It's a weird mix of snow and, I don't know, whatever this green mushroom shit is. But I've also got a armor repair stand over here, so If I'm not on the standard spellbook, I can just go to here. I believe it's also cheaper to restore than it is to go to Lumbridge and visit old mate Bob, but we have the rejuvenation pool. Never used this before. Got myself a bunch of different teleports. The Jar of Venom, 1 of 2, executed over here perfectly, and the Portal Nexus. The only 2 teleports I haven't implemented are 2 of them, I believe. The Mind Altar as well as Marim, whatever that means. I've accidentally teleported to Lumbridge, but that was my house. I'm not teleporting back. I think that's a sign that I need to stop showing people my house. I also made a costume room for whatever that's worth. I'll guarantee that I forget to put anything in it, but it does exist. Future plans will include a combat dummy will go over here. I don't think I'll need that thing unless I'm like ancient macing something. Even then, that might not get used at all. And here will be an obelisk if I ever decide to kill revenants. But I don't know. This has an extreme amount of utility, yet it still potentially looks even worse than it did before. But oh well, it'll get the job done, and maybe one day I will decorate it and it won't look so awful. But today is not this day. This took me like an hour and a half, 14 mil cash, and I think I'm ready to park it there. Making a little pivot over to Mac here, with sailing coming out, I just realized a max cape is going to cost 99k more than it currently does. So to get ahead of inflation, I'm going to buy a couple backups now. I think I have changed my stance on the cheese cape max. I don't know if you can be dyslexic for entire words, but that sentence proves it's possible. But yeah, I think I'm going to buy an additional max cape for my fire cape, potentially my magic cape, and maybe my Missouri crafting kit. I'll put some thought into what I'm actually going to use it for, but all I know is I want to buy them for cheap, quote unquote. So I'm going to buy 3 more max capes now. Feels weird just having one. My cash stack is about to actually be under 10 million GP for the first time in so long, but I'm going to buy 5. I'm going to buy the 3 immediately, and then I'll buy an additional 2 here. This will be for my future Infernal Cape that is definitely going to happen, and my future Quiver, which is also definitely going to happen. The timeline, yet to be discussed, but I'm going to have some faith in myself and assume that one day I'll actually achieve it, and I can smile knowing that I saved 99k per cape. Even though I think it'll be a little bit annoying to change around my bank tag layouts, we're going to add our assembler to this max cape, and we're going to make the little aesthetic upgrade. I didn't think it would be worth it, but I don't know. For some reason, I gave myself this, like, goalpost, and then I moved it. I told myself I'd never have a cheese cape or anything like that, but I don't know, man. It doesn't look that bad. I think it looks pretty decent, and the worst case scenario can simply be that I have multiple max cape styles. And I think, honestly, they all look pretty good respectively. I don't really benefit from arbitrarily just shackling myself to a future goal. Although I think the fire cape, the hood at the very least, could be changed a bit. This yellow, man, what it conflicts with the orangey theme of the lava. A little bit strange, but to be honest, I won't be using this hood a whole lot anyway, so out of all the things to look a bit wonky, I guess the hood ain't such a bad thing after all. But anyway, I'll look a little bit better in TOA, depending on who you ask, I suppose. But I think this is a bit of an upgrade over the fire cape, and yeah, no regrets. We've got ourselves a final Hellhound for a Konar task, and this will be the final streak maintaining task that I will ever do. With 1200 tasks in a row being complete, I think it's time that we put it in the bin. But first things first, I need to go set up a block list and use my ornate pool for one of the first times. I'm still getting used to actually teleporting all around the place and not using the Ferox Enclave. I might have to take the dueling ring out of my like bank tag layouts just so I can avoid any potential mishaps. But I'm going to set up a block list for Aya/Turiel, depending on what you like to call this Slayer Master. But because of the new Slayer update, every Slayer Master has their own unique block list. I of course only have access to 6 of the 7 blocks, but that should be half decent. The final block I'm going to put in place here for now will be Bats, I believe. I can also do Banshees if I were to unlock that 7th, but I think this should have me covered for a bit. It's very strange how Slayer is so different, but yeah, I can essentially destroy my task as soon as I get something that isn't totally, like, awesome. So I guess it's time to test that out right now. Let's see if we can get either a Smoke Devil task or an Araxite. I'll also accept Abyssal Demons, but essentially, if it's not one of those 3 tasks, I'm going to be NPC contacting Aya and trying to get something else instead. Once that task is complete, I'll go to Cyrodiil and repeat until I get one of my 3 desirable tasks. It's going to be a very different change in gameplay, but I was doing a little bit just to get my streak up, just to get to the 1200 last night, and I'm actually enjoying it so far. So even though I'm 99 Slayer, I've almost got 30 mil experience, this feels fresh, so who knows, maybe I'll do a little bit more Slayer today. But anyway, I've got myself a fire giant task that I need to block. Again, I should probably just teleport to the crafting guild. Growing pains. I've also made a very scuffed Turiel skipping Slayer task tab. I think I'm going to be using the blowpipe more than anything else for a lot of these low level monsters. I will definitely be changing this tab around. I don't think I need strength pots and prayer pots, but there's going to be a bunch of random items like the Ring of the Elements I think will be really handy. Ectophiles, items that I don't generally carry with me, so alongside NPC contact, runes. Yeah, I'm going to have to slowly build that tab over time. So if we get a task that is not a Smoke Devil, an Araxite, or an Abyssal Demon, we talk into Aya, and with the block list, it should be quite simple to skip this task and go and get myself another one from Cyrodiil. But this all begins with destroying my streak of 1200, which I'm going to gleefully do. We've taken advantage of the streak bonus, and 17 rats and a 0 Slayer streak is where I currently stand. I think how I'm going to organize it is that I'll get 2 tasks that I want to do. That way I can be doing longer tasks back to back, and it isn't so disjointed. But I can already say, without a shadow of a doubt, I just skipped black dragons to go and do a zombie task, and just the speed in which you get this task completed compared to black dragons, even though that is, in my mind, a quick task, it is just so night and day. This is definitely going to be a much faster way to get the imbued heart, and I never have to do black dragons, I never have to do dust devils or necreals. A lot of these monsters I used to like doing, but for the current objective I've had, the imbued heart of course, these aren't going to serve me too well, and this method is going to be so much better. I can already feel this is going to be such an improvement. And with my newly set up player owned house with NPC contact, this is going to be an absolute breeze. RNG may screw me, but at the very least, I feel like I've got the very best setup to make this happen as fast as possible. But with that said, Araxites, let's go get an imbued heart. I'm currently editing this very video, but we've got ourselves a superior monster here. I totally forgot there was a mechanic I need to pay attention to. Almost a miracle that I didn't get destroyed by that venom shot just now. Let's find out if we can get some success with this one. I kind of prefer doing this task without having a cannon. It's kind of more AFK, and that, of course, allows me to actually get some editing done for once. But Dreadborn, what are you going to give me? Some bloody soul runes. This trip is absolutely on fire. I don't normally report on every single superior that I see, but this is superior number 4. This was a big juicy task. I don't know. I didn't know where my venom sacks were. If I panicked, tried to click them then, I definitely would have missed. So I'm going to rip one of those doses. But yeah, this will be the 4th superior for the task. The task itself was 240, something like that in terms of how many Araxites were assigned, so I don't know, the game's been quite generous, and at this point I very much appreciate the generosity. If it could capitalize on that and give me a certain item, that would be sweet, but apparently not. There's some things that recording gives me extra RNG on, and apparently superiors just isn't one of those things. But that's okay. If I can get 4 superiors every single task, mate, this will be done in no time at all. There is no way. This is actually the 5th superior of the task. For the record, I don't have the elite diaries done, so for a 1 in 200 chance of spawning, to receive 5 of them in a single task, this kind of feels like Jagex is really trying to spoon me in one way, but not the other. I get a lot of the superiors, but I don't get the result that I'm going for. But we'll find out. Maybe this will be the final one that I ever kill to get myself a heart. You never know. That's the exciting thing about these little pinatas, is that all it takes is one good one until you get the drop that you're going for. But what is it going to be? Dreadbore number 5 for the task? No dice. Let's go. Bronze boots. I haven't got a collection log in a little while, and currently doing a Turiel task has enabled me to make a massive upgrade. Another casket. What have we got here? A master scroll book. I might keep that, not because I think I'll use it anytime soon, but it might be annoying to not have if I ever do desire to have it. I might be able to compress quite a few things down, at least in terms of keeping all my teleports in one spot. See if we can get something back to back. What is that? Wait, what? I'm so confused. Did I just seriously get that twice in a row? Okay, sure. Okay, video game. I'll take a second one of these. I didn't even realize you could get multiple of them, but I'll take it. Currently doing a medium clue, and apparently I've not unlocked the Orania teleport. I'm not sure if this teleport can even go in my portal nexus once I learn it, but I guess first things first, I'll need to go unlock it from Baba Yaga. Once again, my destiny is inside the chicken house. Man, I forgot my damn seal. Surely you would think by at this point we're tight enough, right? Like, is the difference between me being friend or foe seriously down to the fact that I have a seal of passage in my inventory or not? Oh well. Baba Yaga, can you please teach me this damn teleport? I beg. Alright, I think she's yapped long enough. We can now teleport. I don't feel like that has always had a requirement. I could be wrong. Maybe it's like always been a thing, but I don't recall ever unlocking that spell in that way. But my memory is notoriously terrible, but who knows? I might go check the wiki, because that seems a bit weird, to be honest. Seems like that requirement has been in the game for some time, but I couldn't find conclusively if it's always been a requirement. But I did learn you cannot actually put it in your portal nexus, so I don't have to stress about that. But we do, of course, have ourselves a casket. Nothing new to add to the collection, but again, that sweet stack continues to grow. Can you imagine if I got the heart off one of these little big guys? I don't know, I'd have to retire or something. That would make absolutely no sense. I think I also got low-key crashed whilst doing that task, but whatever. Time to go re-roll at the other Slayer Master. Well, looks like I'm being sent back to exactly where I came from. Question is, do I equally crash this guy who just crashed me? Or is it even considered crashing? I have no idea. All this Turiel etiquette, I don't know anything about it. He also got a superior. What is happening in this game right now? This guy in the Guthans is doing a Slayer task in Guthans without a Slayer helmet, and he's just died to a superior. I don't know what to say. When I got here, he was chilling in the middle, and he respectfully went to the other room, but God, condolences. I seriously hope that was not a valuable drop that is inside that superior. It's a damn shame I can't kill it for myself. Maybe it's a good thing I didn't have my microphone ready to react to that one as it happened, but my god, the second Eternal Gem, I was not expecting that. And with only, what, 3,500 experience until 30 million Slayer? I was really praying that I'd get the heart before then, but apparently, I don't know, I've got 3,000 experience, so it's looking unlikely. So I think I might take a slight little cool-off period from Slayer. I'm going to do a little bit of mining, I reckon. Chill out by the Amethyst. And if that doesn't calm me down, I don't know what will. Who knows, maybe I'll get myself a pet or something, but man, so close yet so far. As soon as I saw that red beam on the floor, I thought for a minute it was over, but it is still, I'm no closer to getting that item than I was, 2 years ago when I made this account or whenever it may be, but I guess the only thing that's really changed is my ability to farm the monsters that do drop them faster and faster, but it's a glimmer of hope, and who knows, maybe in the future the Eternal Gem will have alternative purposes. I really like the idea where you could use a Eternal Gem for like a Bracelet of Slaughter, like an Eternal Bracelet of Slaughter. If that was honestly an item, I wouldn't even be mad, but that thing does not exist in this moment, so I don't know. This will be a reminder that the game can be quite cruel, but I'm gonna go mining and try not to cry myself to sleep. I don't know how long I've been here mining amethyst, but I've turned them all into arrow tips. I've been using quite a few Rin arrows since using the Venator bow. I've probably used in excess of 15,000, not to mention using it for God Wars as well. Rune arrows is a commodity I didn't think I'd run out of anytime soon, but it's generally the case that I use quite a few of them on a daily basis, and it's something I didn't really anticipate. So in response, we've made a bunch of amethyst arrow tips. I will need to fletch them together, but that is for another day. I've emotionally recovered from the Eternal Gem that I received last night, but I do feel like I'm on a bit of a hot streak, so I'm going to test that theory, send a few more Slayer tasks, and see if I can pull something that is a little bit more valuable than a damn gem. Definitely needed to take a few hours to cool off after that one, but once we did get back into Slayer, did not take long, as you can imagine, to get the 30 mil experience in that skill. So that looks pretty clean in the skills tab, but Whilst doing a little bit of Slayer, I made a quite unsurprising discovery, one that I probably should have made many moons ago. What? Amethyst arrows are stronger than Rune? I thought they were identical. Huh? So yes, that I did not know that. I thought Rune and Amethyst were identical. They were a mere substitute that you could get yourself. And to make things more interesting, we did get a superior drop. So I guess you could say it's another superior swing and a mist, I guess. Now I knew my RNG felt good. I didn't mean for it to translate into a missed battle staff though. Slight mismatch. I don't know how to feel right now. I'm very confused. I don't know what is in the water these days, but I think this task I've gotten myself 4 superiors? 3? 4? Never mind, this is superior number 5 for this task. So I guess yesterday was the day of Araxites, today is the day of the Smoke Devils. Don't know if it's going to translate into anything, but the last time we had a chance at the rare drop table that we're looking at, it was indeed a Smoke Devil. I like to put it on the Ice Blitz spell, just so I don't accidentally waste KC on anything else with the barrage, but what's it going to be? Superior, number 5. I saw the red again. There is no way it's another missed battle staff. What is happening? My heart can't handle this, and that's no pun intended at all. Since I no longer use a cannon for these tasks, what ends up happening is I go AFK and I forget what I'm doing and I forget to record milestones. There is 80 million ranged. I thought I'd be in the 70s for a little bit. Didn't expect to start and complete them in a singular video, but here we are, I suppose. Now, if I wasn't so addicted to Slayer in this moment, I'd probably need to go to TOA. This video, I want to have a payoff, alright? I'm not the viewer of this video. But I need something to happen because if I don't get myself a source of dopamine before I end this video, I don't know what's going to happen. I need something significant, whether that's a purple, a pair of ranger boots, or an imbued heart. I just need something to keep me going. So I need to wrap up my Slayer training momentarily, but I don't know. I'm just in the just one more Slayer task. Surely I'll get it next time kind of loop. And I'm getting scared. This is taking a long time, and there is no light at the end of the tunnel unless this Dreadborn has an answer for me. What's it gonna be, Mr. Dreadborn? These things quite commonly will drop the heart for others, but apparently not for yours truly. I do enjoy the Araxite tasks, but I think I've just done too many in a too short period of time. So I think I'm going to have to force myself away from Slayer because I think my best chances reside either in Clue Scrolls or TOA. But like I said before, I just need something. I need some sort of payoff that makes it feel like this game is worth playing because, my god, I'm just in a death spiral right now and my experience just keeps going up and up and up. I don't mind doing the old Dagonoth task to get myself some medium clues. Getting them passively is much more enjoyable than actively trying to hunt these things down, but I think if I really do want to speed up the grind, I will inevitably have to actually do them manually. Put some dedicated attention into locking down some more clues. But as of my previous clue, we've now completed 50 mediums without realistically putting a whole lot of effort into it, which is kind of nice. I can't really remember how I used to get mediums back in the day. From memory, I think there's potentially Cockatrice in the Slayer dungeon and also Eclectic Implings. I don't really feel like doing either of those, but maybe the Cockatrice aren't too bad. But I do recall you needing a mirror shield, so like a blowpipe or something would not be effective. I'm pretty sure Felidor guards might be hard clues. I don't know. Might have to do some wiki looking, but hopefully we don't come to that point and we can just get them passively. Apparently not on this clue scroll though. I think before I forget, I want to make mention of a plugin that I've been using recently to help with my tutorial tasks, and that is the tutorial skipping plugin. In the bottom left, you'll see the Dorgshan dungeon. This is the instructions it will give you for every single tutorial task. And when you're like me and you're not used to doing this, I find this to be extremely helpful, and it's the sort of thing that I'll take for granted and forget to mention. So if you are doing AYA or tutorial skipping, I highly recommend that plugin from the plugin hub, because a lot of these tasks, I would not have known about these locations. I don't kill cave slimes very often, so cave bugs and all those crawlers and all the crap that you get assigned from these tasks, yeah, it gives you essentially a shortest path plugin with a few extra steps, I suppose. But task complete. Time to go get some Araxites is my prediction. What's it gonna be? Black dragons. We skip that shit around here. It's so nice to be like, that's slightly undesirable. No thank you. I'll be dealing with some slimes instead. Scorpions aren't too bad, I suppose, and with the max cape, I don't know if it's just like the convenience of the plugin, the house, or everything just coming together, but man, this just feels so streamlined and good. And like, and to be fair, I'm only a few million experience into this, but I don't know. I'm still enjoying it, as weird as that may sound, and it's all just coming together. I don't have to use my brain, it's kind of AFK and chill, and overall, Slayer is still fun, despite me not getting what I actually need. There's also random little things that are making things easy as well. I've just got myself a Banshee task, and they recently added a new agility shortcut, so getting to these bad boys, they're not the funnest thing in the world to kill, but at the very least they're a little bit easier to access. What was that? My game lagged and I saw Turiel for a moment there. That is very strange. One thing I really like too is just this absolute meme chance that I get a heart off one of these ridiculous superiors. I think it's like 1 in 1300, very unlikely to occur, but can you imagine all of this grinding from smoke devils or araxites, and it's a bloody cave crawler that gets me over the line? That would just be insane. I was trying to find a fast way to get to Minotaurs, the Skull Scepter seemingly being the best. The only way to charge it, however, is to imbue it, and the only way to imbue it is to activate an authenticator, as well as grabbing some fancy boots. Strange requirement. I never thought an item would be gatekept behind account security, but I don't know. I do want to charge this thing, so here we are. But I do need to imbue this thing, otherwise if I were to use all the charges in this scepter, it would be destroyed, essentially, once it ran out. So hopefully old mate Saltson can do an account check to verify that I am indeed a secure individual, and I can actually give charges to this scepter now. Again, weird gameplay mechanic, but I guess I have to play ball, otherwise I'm going to be running from Edgeville down to the Minotaurs every single time. I think this is also going to be useful for Delve, so I guess a multi-purpose upgrade there. Just a bit of a strange way to obtain it, I suppose. Speaking of strange, when I went to do my Araxite task, I had a very rare instance occur. Whilst killing them, 2 Araxites died, and as a result, 2 superiors spawned on top of each other. So this is the first time ever that I've seen this, that one person has 2 superiors to their name simultaneously. I guess in theory you could get, I don't know, upwards of a few. If you kill all of them in the same game tick, in theory could you get like 9 superior smoke devil spawns? I wonder what the maximum somebody's ever seen, but the first superior dropped us another missed battle staff, just in case I hadn't received enough of those this video. But as for superior number 2, that one went a little dry. Alright, Mr. Ironman Tutor, hook me up. I think that blessing will actually be useful for Zami. Instead of using the Zami D'hide top, I might be able to bring that instead. So not a bad clue. I'll take it. Just in between Slayer tasks, I come to the bank, we're in a 2200 world, and I just see 2 rune knights fire making next to each other. It's just something so simple, yet so gangster in the crafting bank going on now. I had to do a bit of a double take. My brain had to process what I was looking at when I got to this bank, and I still don't quite understand it. But all I know is that full rune goes very, very hard. Although this one probably needs to change his boots. I don't know, the rune boots look far better than guardian boots, or whatever those boots seem to be. After doing medium clues in Slayer, I should probably report, I didn't really mention, I've gotten, 7.5 million experience this video. Yeah, I think we put a full stop at the end of this sentence, and we begin ourselves a new paragraph, I suppose. And that paragraph, it's going to be 3 letters long, and it's going to write T-O-A. I don't know if any of that made sense. Anyway, onto the raid we go. Hopefully we can get a purple nice and quickly. I guess 320 is going to be the final tally. The main thing though is just to get more practice with Insanity. In theory, it doesn't really add extra time to have this on, it's just a mechanical diff. And yeah, if I get used to it, it'll be free invocation levels. And when you're doing something for hundreds and hundreds of hours, any slight chance to the improved drop table is probably something that I should be pursuing. It's just that upfront cost that I've been so worried about spending, but today is the day. And the invocation that I want to put on, yeah, walk the path. That is the one that if things get too easy, we tick this box right here. It does come at the cost of making the raid go longer, so you do have that trade-off a little bit. But at least Insanity, the extra HP, I guess you get it from the raid level itself, but it's negligible considering that these actually add additional mechanics. But I don't know. Anytime that the invocation level's going up, it's probably a good thing. I'm a little bit worried. I went power this time, which is fine, but it's one of those situations where I only get one of the salts. So if I die, I'm going to be unsalted for the final warden stage. So mission right now is to not die. I don't know if I'll be able to succeed it, but I will indeed try my very best. Alright, we didn't die, but that was hella stressful, and I forgot to adjust my timer. I like setting it to 40 minutes in case shit hits the fan. 4.75%. Fortunately, shit did not hit the fan, but that is another white light. Man, dude, this is palm sweaty spaghetti status. I don't know if I can do that for dozens and dozens of raids right now. Jesus, for an extra 20 invocation. What I might attempt to do, I might just put on walk the path and then take off insanity and then chuck dehydration back on. That will get me to a 350. It will take a little bit longer, but I think it should be worth it. That was just, I don't know, for 20 invocation level, man, that is such a trade-off. I think because I am very used to dehydration, turning it off does not feel like a super big luxury. However, if I don't have ambrosias while I learn insanity, my get out of jail free card, yeah, it goes tits up. So I'll put on that aforementioned invocation sequence and see how that goes. Give me that dehydration back. Pretty happy with that. Don't normally get a 350 more or less in under 30 minutes. So that was faster. The invocation was higher. The boss was easier to kill at the end. The only downside is that it kind of front loads a bit of that challenge, which, to be honest, is kind of nice if you screw up early on as opposed to at the very end. I think I know which one I would select. And since they've updated TOA, I don't need it to be 350 precisely. 345, I see the damn key. Damn it. I wish I didn't know about that key equating to no drop, but anyway, I think we can rock those. I don't think I'll be matching that time consistently, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe just dehydration, because I'm so used to it, doesn't really feel like such a burden. And if I really am getting consistent with this, what I could potentially do, if I really did care about that 350 specifically, I could just put on the jog for it there. If I do 10 raids, all 10 of them are 35 minutes or less, then I could probably flick it across. But it's 5 invocation level. It's really inconsequential. And I want to make sure I can actually get under 35 minutes every single time before I make the flip and switch it over entirely. I actually got a new PB. I did not think that would happen anytime soon. I hit a fat 60. I think that's what it was. I didn't realize P4 had its own unique defense, and I didn't realize you could reduce it by 60, but looks like it is going to be a white chest, but yeah, totally taken off guard for that. It might be about, I don't know, 20 seconds. I don't think I beat it by too much in terms of the minute barrier last time, but we'll take that. Totally unexpected and wasn't really a spectacular run, but I think now that I'm trying to get BGSs off during P4, I think, who knows, maybe I'll get a couple more PBs here or there. I'm still really conflicted on whether or not I want to push in terms of higher invocations or try to get speedy 300s. My mind's telling me I need to push up the invos. I really would like for that to be the goal, but my heart, dude, it likes doing the fast 300s. And I'm running into the issue that if I do a 350 or anything higher than that, what ends up happening is that I find it so exhausting that I don't actually want to do another raid. But if I do 300s, I can do more of them. So whilst on paper, it's not efficient, it's just like in reality, the thing that I live in currently, if I do 350s or anything higher, it just, I want to log out. So I don't know. I'm just managing with the 300s. And if I can try and go for speed, at least that is some sort of lever that I can pull to try and help increase my purple rate, at least increasing the chance that I actually get one relatively soon. I've gotten very, very close to banking my burning claws. They were just hitting like absolute dog shit for ages until I realized that I didn't have them on stab anymore. At some point, I'd swapped over the attack style, and they were borderline useless. So that's a very important thing to remember, turns out. If you do not set your burning claws to stab, you're in for an absolutely awful experience. I kind of like, if there's a plugin that exists that tells me to put my claws on stab, I need to install that plugin immediately. Last raid of the night. I wasn't actually going to do this one, so let's see if I made a good or a bad choice. Very, very bad decision. I should have gone to sleep. I came across this pretty interesting method of gaining medium clue scrolls. It's not perfect, and on an Ironman it's a little bit strange, but it did allow me, one, to get some steel boots, which was good, but two, if you use a goading potion in this southern area of the Varlamore Island, Harpy bug swarms will swarm to you, and if you barrage them, their drop rate is somewhere in the ballpark of what you can expect from a Feldor guard if you haven't done the diary, but because you're killing them in bulk, the drop rate isn't so bad. Is it the best method if you're an Ironman and you're by yourself and you don't have an alternate account with a cannon or something else to gather up these swarms for you? I don't think it's the best, but it is an option, and an option is all I was really looking for. And from the clue scrolls that I did manage to obtain, I managed to come across a discovery. That being that if you run through the Mortmire swamp with purple sweets, the ghast can occasionally get hungry and eat them out of your inventory. It's kind of crazy that I learned things about this game so far down the road. I really do feel like I'm swiping at hallucinations. 1 minute, I think the heart is achievable. The next, a TOA purple. The next, ranger boots. And it's just been cycling like this for weeks. But I really do think we're onto something here with these Harpy bug swarms. We've completed 97 medium clues. So in 3 clues time, we'll be able to stack over, I think it's 3 precisely each time. So even though it is quite quick in terms of how fast it is to get clues, it will be nice to buff that a little bit by gathering more and more each individual trip. I think I am just going to do the 3 at a time because if I stack a bunch, I really just want to get the boots ASAP. I don't want to have a bunch of additional overloaded ones, but considering the fact that we can increase the speed in which we're completing mediums, I kind of feel like that is the better approach compared to doing TOA. Considering I did 14 TOAs yesterday, I'm not exactly in high spirits about that pyramid at the moment. So I've got a kind of a temporary setup that I've got essentially for this endeavor. This is my current setup. If I make any changes, I'll keep you posted, but essentially, can you barrage or burst? Great. Can you use a goading potion? If not, have you got something like darts that you can use to gather along these Harpy swarms? A bit of a unexpected method unlock here, but I was glad to come across it from a DVS. And one thing that I will learn from that he wasn't able to implement is bringing a ring of wealth. If you're going to be here for a long period of time, having this simple ring, this one simple trick could earn you millions. But with that said, I'm going to get back into things. I don't know where my potions went. I did, in this template, have a few goading potions and prayer pots, but I think realistically, if I am going to do a trip, I don't need any more than 1 or 2 goading potions, and 5 or 6 prayer pots should be more than enough to get at least 3 medium clues. So I might update my thing like this and get back into it. So essentially, once you've gone to your fairy ring of choice, you'll be heading to the Avium Savannah, I believe. The QR code, the fairy ring code is AJP. Will simply click on that bad boy and head more or less directly south, I believe. I'm still trying to learn Varlamore. It's not exactly something that I'm super familiar with, but with the shortest plugin, you can see a nice little south to southeasterly. But anyway, I'm going to stop sounding like a weather reporter and go kill some Harpy bug swarms. There's also a landing site here, so if you've got that installed, that would probably, I hazard to say, be a little bit faster than the fairy ring, but I've just marked this tile northeast of this iron pickaxe. I'm not sure if this is like 100% optimal, but it seems to be relatively centered. One mistake I've got with my gear setup is that I don't have darts, and I've got a bofa instead. One issue with the bofa is that it is not a one-handed weapon. I should probably get myself like a bone crossbow or something, or some iron darts to gather things, because yeah, unequipping this bug lantern is problematic. When you go to burst or barrage a bunch of these, you'll simply hit 0 damage indefinitely. I've definitely been making that mistake and don't want to make it anymore. I thought I might show what it looks like to kind of round them up. Now obviously you want to get a one-handed range weapon. That or a cannon, either would work quite well, but essentially you want to use your range weapon to get the ones on the outside and let your goading potion do its work for the stuff that's close by. Once you've got a little stack together, you can burst them all. The drop rate is a 1 in 128 for this, so it's kind of similar to Felly Guard's pre-diary buff, I suppose, but the good thing about this is that you can stack up a bunch of them quite quickly, and the respawn time, it isn't too bad, so all in all, very appreciative of discovering this method. Eclectic Implings was just not my cup of tea, and without a cannon, I mean, I'd rather do this than do the Felly Guards. Another cool thing is that if you've hit your limit of how many clues that you get, just remember that if you drop a clue scroll on the ground, you've got an extra hour there. So any excess, if you don't want to waste your goading potion or your prayer points, or you just want to get max value out of the resources you brought, just chuck the excess clue scrolls on the floor and they will last forever. Well, an hour. I guess it depends on your definition. But the 3 clues that we've got here, once completed, will unlock the ability to carry 3 at a time more or less, which will be nice. I could get a 4th by doing a mimic, but I believe that process is above my head, and it probably, potentially, will take a lot of time to unlock, so I don't know if that's a worthy time investment, but at the very least, having the ability to carry 3 at a time will be a beautiful quality of life. I hope memory serves me correct. Is it 100 feed to build one of these? Oh, and a bunch of other bullshit. Damn it, I'd rather just take 100 feed, to be honest. I'm going to try this setup here. It's a bit stingy for where I'm at currently in the game. Maxed, still sweating over darts, but I'm going to swap out my magic max cape for a backpack, essentially. I don't want to throw these darts directly on the floor. Maybe I probably should just let them go, but I'm going to build this landing site as well because I really don't feel like I'm going to remember the fairy ring code, and this should be a little bit faster. So this is pretty much just right next to where we're going to be bursting or barraging our Harpy swarms, and with this final medium clue, we'll be able to hold 3 of them. This feels very fitting. I need an iron pickaxe, which I don't actually own, to complete the clue number 100, so I thought of no other spot from the one that I was currently next to. I've also replaced my mystic top with a monk top. I'll keep you updated at 5. What is that? Oh, that's the thing that lets me do more things. Very cool. Didn't realize it was an actual item, but do we just open it? Nicely done. I can now carry 3 clues. Amazing. I feel like everything is all coming together. Spiked manacles, of course. The first pair of boots that we get. Not exactly useful. There's a glimmer of hope, but Jesus Christ, it's not what I'm looking for. I'm still really torn. I think what I'm going to do, I like TOA and I like mediums, but I don't like either of them enough to continue doing them for hours on end. So I might alternate between the two and see which one actually procs a purple or a pair of ranger boots. This is close though. We're cooking. Huh. I was just watching a video and someone was explaining the Rocky rate. It would have taken approximately 800 medium clues worth. But the boys behind me right now, this is taking a turn. Okay, Rocky Pet unlocked. Never had this little bad boy before. What a mischievous looking lad. I've swapped over to pickpocketing gnomes and I've got a bit of a tower of them, but we'll take the Rocky Pet for now. Okay, I see you, little raccoon. You won't hear it in the video, but I had game sounds on and I don't know, I got very, very confused very, very quickly. It's kind of nice to just feel lucky again. Obviously, Rocky, it's not really an upgrade in any sort of way, but it just feels nice to get something that's kind of rare. I've been kind of struggling lately, as you can probably imagine, so this is a good morale boost. I think Rocky can also be transmogged into a red panda, and that's like my favorite animal ever. So this might be like an S tier pet in my opinion. So I don't really, in general, collect pets, but Rocky, if I did, would be near the top of the list. Obviously, there's one other substitute that is going to top Rocky, but he's a close second, I reckon. So very, very happy to get him. I still can't get over it. I'm like legit watching a YouTube video, someone explaining it should take about 100 hours on average to pickpocket gnomes and get yourself a pet on drop. And then I just hear the sound effect out of nowhere. I think I'm getting mauled IRL and there he is. He's there. He's real. I got something rare. And I wonder if he's going to give me some good luck for the medium clues. I kind of just want to stack like an infinitely high tower of these. I don't know. I'm kind of vibing with the gnomes. I think it's approximately 8 clues per hour. So if I can get like a stash of like 50 of these, that'd be sweet. But I don't want to overstretch and imagine that I get 50. I'm definitely not going to commit to that, but I want to get as much as I possibly can before my wrist dies. I can see why people get foot pedals. To me, that's such a RuneScape thing. That is so funny. But essentially, once I get the third medium clue, I go over to my stash, and I swap these out, pull them out, and then just drop all 3 of them on the ground, and then head back over. When the pie thing reduces in time, I'll simply pick them up and put them to the tile next to it. It's actually not too bad to do it on the mobile phone. The only downside is that I don't have access to that visual cue letting me know how long is there, and I'm kind of a little bit scared. I'm going to be very paranoid and protective. Even though I've got an hour where they can sit on the floor, I'll probably end up picking them up and putting them down every like 5 minutes just because I just feel super paranoid. But it feels good to get something rare, and hopefully this can translate to something even more rare. Although statistically, I think Rocky is far more rare than a pair of Ranger boots, but you know what I'm trying to say. And for those of you who've never pickpocketed gnomes before in your life, I'm not sure pre-99 how worthwhile it is worth doing. Maybe it is. If you enjoy it, stuff it. Doesn't really matter too much, but if you're curious, getting around 175 to 180,000 experience an hour, and like I said before, about 8 clues you can expect. I think I just got my third one over here. It's pretty chill. I'm not bothering with like any optimal sort of like trapping or anything like this. I kind of just follow him. He'll go down one of 3 pathways essentially, and all 3 pathways end up in him essentially getting trapped because he can't walk any further away from you and you stand in the opposite spot. If you really care, what you can do every couple of minutes is just give him some breathing room, let him move 1 tile. Eventually he'll move back anyway. Nice, another medium clue there, but I also just let him teleport. If he is trapped for 5 minutes, he might teleport from here to here, and then you might set up the trap over in this space over here. The advantage to being in this north part is that no one's going to run through this. If somebody does run through the area that you're in, the gnome, he will path straight through you, as if you did not exist. So there's pros and cons, I guess. It really just comes down to your playstyle, how much you care, but I don't mind just following him around and going for like a subtle little trap every now and again. But like you can see here, the clues are pretty good. The first clue I got today took me 650 pickpockets just to get 1 clue. So you can go very, very dry, and just because you see footage where I get 2 clue scrolls in a minute, yeah, results definitely may vary. But overall, it's just kind of nice to have a variety of different methods to get medium clues that are kind of half decent. If you enjoy eclectics, it's probably faster than this. But if you enjoy the gnomes, I don't know, it comes down to enjoyment factor being a pretty significant element for me. I don't enjoy eclectics, and barraging at the Harpy bog swarms I think is far more effective if you have like an alternate account with a cannon. But even without that, I think it's still pretty effective. But essentially, I've got 3 effective options to choose from, and I can just rotate in between all 3 depending on how I'm feeling. But with that said, I'm going to go get myself some more clues, make this tower nice and high, and then I'll probably do some of these clues either tomorrow or the day after, depending on how long I feel like doing this for. Alright, so I think the tower of the medium clue scroll is complete. I don't know how many clues are in there, but I guess we shall find out. I've put on some prayer bonus gear here and started to use the rapid heal prayer. I could use a regen bracelet. I could probably go make one, but in lieu of that, that's just what I've done for now. But one thing I did not realize after getting my Rocky pet, and somebody pointed out to me, is that 100,000 experience later, what ended up happening is that not only did I get the Rocky pet once, I actually got it a second time. So basically, I've gone from 0 RNG to using all of it in less than an hour of gameplay, and it was to get a duplicate raccoon. But anyway, I was just blown away by that. Had I not been told about it, I wouldn't have even realized that it happened. It happened so close together that I didn't even notice the second one. But still grateful for the first. Now it's time that we go get ourselves some ranger boots, I reckon. I have done the absolutely unthinkable. I've had the patience to do all 40 of those medium clues. It was 40, by the way, it turns out, without opening a single one. So we're going to go to the crafting guild. We're going to do absolutely 0 milking, and we're going to just blitz through these. I think I have about a 13% chance of getting myself a pair of ranger boots. We're going to grab this entire stack and go through it as fast as anyone has ever seen. I don't even want to see what is in there. If it's not a pair of ranger boots, I don't care if it exists. I don't think there's a whole lot of the medium clue. You know, I probably shouldn't spam. That's actually quite disrespectful, potentially. We'll do the remaining ones a little more civilized, but we'll get some... Oh, these notifications are going to drive me crazy. A cloak duplicate. I think at this point I've definitely gotten all the different cloaks. There might be a couple that I'm missing, but definitely are not missing that Zamorakian one. But I feel like, yeah, it's just going to unlock a bunch of achievements. That penguin mask I have seen 4 times. For those who do not know, I got banned back in the day, and it was due to the minigame. Wait, is this mine or somebody else's? I have no idea. The biggest ban I have ever copped in this game was due to penguins, and I noticed the first time I got the penguin mask, it makes a reference to the distraction and diversion that got me banned in the first place. These penguins got reset every single week. There would be a bunch of penguins around the map, and I think you could like spy on them. There was like 10 of them. They would be in like a bush or something, and that spying process gave you a lot of XP. The cap was about 10 spies per week, but for some reason, one of the weeks, you could just infinitely spy it over and over again. I got myself about 2.3 million Slayer experience in an hour, and ever since then, the account that I played RS3 on has been deleted. But anyway, that's my traumatic story for the day. Hopefully we can remedy it with a pair of boots. It doesn't look like we've gotten ourselves any closer. That's the thing with the ranger boots. It's not like you get ranger fibers. You know what? The wizard boots, never mind. That kind of gives me signs of life. The boots category, it does exist. I can hit that drop. And I think the boots, whether it be spiked manacles, the wizard boots, whatever you have, they kind of share the same drop rate. So we have got the manacles. We have got the wizard boots now. There's only the ranger boots to go. I think there's another pair, but anyway. If I'm not going for it, I'm not going for it. It's not going to register in my brain. I am severely underestimating how irritating it is for these things to keep popping up. Like, suffering a little bit from success. I don't really care about collection logs a whole lot. I'm probably going to end up having to drop all of these anyway. So I could have probably streamlined this process. But in any case, I can go ahead and drop what is in my bank. Is that a cat mask? I think that's new. Yes, I don't remember getting one of those. But as cute as it may be, I don't really have a whole lot of use for it. Another wolf cloak there, and with 2 clues remaining, it's looking pretty grim. 1 clue, no boots for yours truly. I am kind of dressed like a free-to-play ranging pure, and I guess the wizard boots would kind of fit. But anyway, that is 40 clues down the drain. That took me like 2.5, or a little over 2 hours to complete all of those. And all I've got to show for it is a pair of wizard boots. It is on brand. It kind of goes with the theme, but yeah, we're still no closer to those ranges than we were 40 clues ago. I think I might take a little bit of break from doing some clues. I might go mine or something. I don't know. I feel very, very lost once again. Alright, there's about a day's worth of mining. Nothing cleanses the pellet, much like mining amethyst does. I'm kind of a little bit worried though. I probably should get myself a Varrock armor piece at the very least. I don't think I need any more skills to finish out my diaries, but I've just not gotten around to them yet. But there's another 11,000 arrows. I didn't think I'd use so many, but since I'm using the Venator bow for so many things, I'm actually flying through these arrows, and because they're stronger than rune, I hold them in much higher value than I did. I did think they were the same strength as rune, so I didn't really put a whole lot of emphasis on amethyst arrows, but now that I know they're stronger, and I go through them quite quickly, I'm more than happy to camp out for an entire day just to get more of them. They're also a bit better than darts. I think you get like 8 dart tips every time you make a stack, and for arrow tips you get 15, so you get more per your amethyst, which is nice as well. It looks like we also hit 15 million crafting today. It's kind of these things just go under the radar. But unfortunately, no mining pad for the very least. And I only got 1 medium clue scroll. You get these for doing random skilling activities. I did this for upwards of 8 hours and I got 1 medium clue. So let's go and do that now, see what we get. Casket time. Let's see if 10 hours of grinding for this singular medium clue scroll pays off. Absolutely not. Alright, so I've been thieving for about an entire day. We've just got ourselves to 15 million thieving. I think from here, what I might do, I might cap out my scroll box and then I will get stuck into this tower. It's kind of random that these gnomes just give you arrow shafts, but since I'm actually making arrows, it actually helps. But I don't know how many clue scrolls are there. I have thought a few ways to try and bank pin. I've been trying to position my camera in such a way that I can actually show you how many clues are here, but I haven't come across a method, at least not in this fixed mode. But I think there's about 60 clues there. I could be wrong. I have no idea. All I know is it takes forever to refresh the timers. But I guess I kind of decided if I don't get the Ranger boots by the time this pile is complete, I'm probably not going to get them this video. But that's okay. I'm going to spend the next couple of hours trying to complete these and cross my fingers and hope for the very best. I'll also be able to passively fletch my arrows while I work on my clues. I never thought I'd run out of headless arrows, but apparently it's happening sooner than I expected. I'll probably have to make a few more of those somewhere in the near future, I imagine, considering how quickly we're going through them. And there is all the arrows created, about a quarter of the way through things, unless I'm seriously overestimating how many of these clue scrolls I actually obtained. It's weird when I'm getting the clues themselves. I feel like I'm procrastinating doing the clues, but the longer I procrastinate, just commits me into a further process of completing them. And then thinking about that process makes me procrastinate even more. So I've done this to myself, but at the very least, I'll give myself a pretty decent chance of getting a pair of boots. There is the final casket collected. 54 was the final tally. I want to go to a bank that isn't completely populated so I can kind of spam click through these and not have to worry about what is what or whose is whose on the floor. I don't think I've gone to the woodcutting guild in a little while. I'm going to use this lower section here because I don't actually need to withdraw anything. All I need to do is deposit, so very little chance that even if I had something valuable on the ground that somebody would snipe it. But let's clear this up really quick. I also replaced the fletching with a bit of high elk, so a bit of a 9mm cache, which is good to see. I've got an insurmountable amount of elks that I'll need to do across a bunch of different items, so I thought I might as well make a little bit of a dent. But with 54 caskets to go, this is time for round 2. Can we get the Ranger boots? And I'm hoping that because I got the collection logs all out of the way, that this time around we won't have to contend with so many. Is that another pair of wizard boots? In 3 clues? Okay. I honestly do not know what I should be holding on to, if anything. To me, in this moment, all I care about is a pair of Ranger boots. So there's items that they might have value. I just don't. And there's no way I get another pair of wizard boots. I don't know how to react to that. Man, oh man, oh man. This is not how I thought things would be starting off, but it is interesting. I think I'll keep the wizard boots on me for now. Let's see how many of these I can get before I actually get the pair that I want. So let's continue. That is 9 caskets and 2 pairs of wizard boots. It's very, very interesting to say the least. And like I said before, I don't know outside of the wizard boots if there's really anything that I care about. I guess the purple sweets are kind of nice. I'm not sure if I'll use them anytime soon, but I can imagine a world where getting something along the lines of a difficult achievement might be a little bit less difficult with some purple sweets. It's also kind of crazy how quickly my inventory fills up. I kind of like half expected to be able to like spam through like 30 of these without needing to bank, but that is not the case at all, not even close. I think I'll just drop a lot of the alkables. A lot of the elks that I've been procrastinating to actually do have much more valuable than any of these like addy items. The uniques I'll hold on to for a minute, so I'll put them in my bank, but at the same time I don't know how valuable they'll actually be. Not sure how rare it is to get coins. Another wolf cloak. And I officially ran out of bank space once again, so any unique is going to have to fight for its life in the bank. We've only got 12 more clues to go. I was feeling confident going into this, not going to lie, but with the single digits left in reserve, my confidence is definitely shriveling up. We're going to have to do these final 3 as we run towards the next bank. I don't know what comes next after this. I was really hoping for these rangers to set me free, but alas, with 1 casket left, I don't think it's going to happen, but it's always possible. A 1 in 283 chance to be set free immediately. Can we do it on the final clue? No, we can't. Oh my god, this video. Okay. Alright, I think I'm going to have to go to TOA or something. I just need something for closure. I need closure for this video. I can't... The sunk cost fallacy is real, and I am very much a victim of it in this moment. But hey, at least I got 3 pairs of wizard boots now. This raid needs to be quick for the most RuneScape reason of all time. That being, I have chicken tendies in the oven. If you're cooking chicken tendies, I don't recommend you start a TOA raid. I fear that they may be burnt, but at the very least I will have another raid KC. This one has taken a little longer, due to reasons that I don't want to explain. I'm a dumbass. But hopefully if my bofa hits and my pathing is good, I can actually complete this raid. It is complete. It is kind of nice that I can die and still get around 30 minutes. I also forgot to change my spellbook and died to mine the gap on the raid before this, but we don't talk about that. There's no video evidence. I don't know why I'm self-outing myself. Don't want to be spoiled by the key, but it is indeed another white light. I do have faith in TOA. I do not know if it is misplaced or not, but I'm going to send a couple raids tonight and hopefully I can release myself from one of the 3 prisons that I've seemingly rotated between today. Now I don't know if I've just never noticed this due to a lack of attention, but during this monkey room, for the first time to my knowledge, I completed the room without using any of those green potions that you use on the vents. I kind of thought it was scripted that you would need to absolutely use these at some point, but turns out I got lucky or something and just didn't need to use one at all. Got a bit lucky with the BGS there, smacking a nice little 60 on P4, don't mind if I do, but the significance of this chest is that if it is white, this will be 25 KC dry. So I don't want to check in with every single kill count, but according to my plugin, I will be 25 dry if this one is indeed a white chest. Who knows, maybe I get a pet though. I've never actually called a pet, so that would be quite miraculous, but we will take Jewel of the Sun, number 9, I think this is, so... oh god. Got quite a few of those. Taking a bit of a clue break and just wanted to reflect on how much of a gangster I look like right now. This completed clue will give me 250, so once I've done this, I'll be able to hold on to 4 clue scroll cases. I don't actually recall what they're called, but in any case, I can hold 4 of them. Scroll boxes, that's what they're called. As soon as I stop recording something, it always comes to me, but you're joking. My heart just dropped. That's insane. I'm in utter shock. I was just doing this to get to 250, but never mind. That is absolutely perfect. There's nothing better that can end this episode than this moment right here and now. Ranger boots and the major medium scroll case completed on the exact same clue. I am beyond shocked about that. That is insane. But you know what? I was fully accepting this video to just not go the direction I needed it to go. Fully resigning to the fact that we'll have to continue grinding for these, but apparently not. It ends here. The Ranger Boots grind is complete, and I can end this episode a happy, happy man. With that said, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.